Well, I'm on a short visit here in California for family reasons. I normally make a trip out anyway to see my mom every 6 months. But this is one of the patios. This is the front patio. There's a nice, big, huge back patio the length of the house, and then there's the side patio and then a back patio. 2 acres of bliss here. Anyways, as I was sitting out here, I've been coming out every morning, as I've been doing in Bohol, to catch the early morning sunlight on my eyeballs, help with my circadian rhythm, just get some vitamin D, start my day with some coffee, which I've already finished. And today, as I was out here, I was thinking about the arc of my life since starting about 8, 9 years old, which is when I really started pondering just everything, life, the world, people, trying to make sense of everything. I spent a lot of my time as a kid alone, so I had a lot of time to ponder. And even now, like I said, I was thinking about the entire arc of my life. This metaphor came to mind, and I thought to myself, well, life for me, as I look at it, is very much like a balloon ride, hot air balloon. And from the time I was born till the time I turned 18, it was like my viewpoint of life, of course, didn't have much life experience to it. And it was like climbing into the basket of a hot air balloon. But the hot air balloon is not filled with hot air yet. And for 18 years, from the time I was born to 18, my viewpoint of the world was whatever I could see from that basket. And everything I saw was lateral. I couldn't see what was behind the trees. I couldn't see what was on the other side of the hill. And there I was for 18 years, grounded, looking at life from this basket that was only 4 feet by 4 feet. Very limited. And then when I turned 18, it's like someone came along, a hot air balloon pilot, of which a very good dear friend of mine that I've known since I was 14, he's been into hot air balloons, so I've been around him a little bit. It's like at 18, along comes this hot air balloon pilot, climbs in the basket, and with the help of others, they fire up the big flame, and they're like, okay, you're 18, now we're gonna take flight. And so they fill up the hot air balloon, and eventually there's enough hot air in there that the basket kind of wobbles a little, gets a few inches off the ground, and pretty soon, a couple blasts of that, hot air. Hey, we're 10 feet off the ground. And life as an emancipated adult begins. And I start having a slightly better viewpoint, or at least vantage point. And then, slowly but surely, you don't notice it all at once. There's no big thrust. But little by little, the balloon's getting higher and higher. And pretty soon you're at 100 feet. And now you're getting a better vantage point. You're starting to see what's out there, what's in the world. But as time goes on, you get higher and higher. You get up around 1,000 feet, 1,500 feet. I don't know what the max is. I know for skydiving, minimum is 3,000 feet. But, you get up there. And let's say at, 1,500 feet, you're looking around from the canopy, and you've definitely got a much different perspective on life. And you're like, wow, here I am, 63 years old, way up in this hot air balloon. I've seen some things, I've done some things, I've done admirable things, I've done things I regretted. I mean, there's a whole plethora of experiences that you go through from the time you're born till, in my case, 63. And I have this whole different perspective, you know, and what comes to mind is what Solomon said in Proverbs, or no, I believe it was Ecclesiastes, one of the two. There's nothing new under the sun. There really isn't. You know, there's new gadgets that get invented to do things for us that we don't want to do, or do it more efficiently. You know, elevator. You know, first we had the stairs, and then we had escalators and elevators. Why? Because we don't want to just be walking upstairs. You know, we'd rather have an invention that does it for us. Automobiles, everything. You know, first we had the horse-drawn carriage. It was a mode of transportation. And then we had the Model T. You know, now we've got self-driving cars. So there really isn't anything new under the sun. There's new gadgets, but really, looking at the Philippines or expats in general, going to Thailand, whatever, there's nothing new under the sun. You know, I've done so many videos, and so have so many other vloggers with experience. You know, we'll forget the people that have only been an expat for maybe 6 months and they think they're an expert on things. But people that have, you know, 3, 5, 10, in my case, 14 years of experience being an expat, we have shared so much on YouTube and other platforms to try and help people avoid certain problems as an expat, you know, the pitfalls, as I call them, and how to maximize, how to live a life to where you can truly enjoy your life as an expat, a life that is darn near drama-free, with as few complications as possible. And yet, every day, several times a day at different airports, planes are landing in Thailand, planes are landing in Philippines, and a percentage, who knows what that percentage is, I'll put it at 60%, just my own guess, but a percentage of guys are getting off that plane with rose-colored glasses, completely ignoring all the sage advice that they were exposed to online before they got there. And they're going to go out and make every mistake in the book. They know they shouldn't take a bar girl serious, and yet they do. And they move her in, and she robs him. And he's bemoaning on some Facebook group, "Oh, what a victim I am." No, you're just a dumbass. You know, and all the other hard cases you hear about, you know, "Oh, I built her a house because we were going to get married and it had to be in her name, and then once the house was built, she broke up with me, and now she's got the house and I got nothing. Lost a quarter of my savings." Some guys half or more of their savings. Hard lesson learned. But it all could have been prevented if they had truly not just listened, but stuck to and executed the plan. Now, I know not everybody's into the Bible and stuff, but it is written down, you know. Jesus was out there on the side of the hill and, you know, sharing some amazing stuff. And somebody in the crowd said something like, "Oh, blessed is the womb from which you came." And Jesus replied, "No, blessed is the man who hears and does what I say." And it's the same principle. It's not enough to just hear and watch on YouTube what you should and shouldn't be doing. You got to get off the plane and do it. You know, and then there's the guys who don't even prepare. They don't do the homework. They don't even watch YouTube. And what YouTube they do watch, they just want to hear some Filipina talk about her sex life. You know, with her Filipina girlfriends there, you know. And they come completely unprepared to the Philippines. And then there's the guys who, yeah, they heard it. Oh, yeah, Enrique says this, Gio says that, Old Dog says that, watch out for this. They get off the plane, and what do? The exact opposite of everything they were warned not to do. So, as I look at it all, the arc of my life, yeah, I'll keep trying to do my best, and so will the other good, responsible vloggers, to warn others of the pitfalls and encourage them to live with principles that keep the drama at a minimum. Because there's no 100% to anything. My life in the last, like I said, in my 14 years in the Philippines, I have had amazing adventures. I have met wonderful, amazing, interesting women for years. I'm now married to just a woman that I didn't even imagine could exist in this world. Wonderful, sweet, kind, trusting, you name it. I'm happily married. I have a great drama-free life. Well, near drama-free. Again, my mom's getting older and all that. But, there's no life without problems. But those problems can be brought to a minimum. It's not necessary to add to the problems in life by running headlong into the candy store like an idiot. And if I had one piece of advice that I could share right now, that is probably the biggest rule of thumb to help in making decisions as you live anywhere, but especially as an expat, it is let your actions be guided by reason, common sense, the goals of where you want to get to, and start taking control of yourself so that you're stopping. Eliminate the practice of making decisions based on your emotions. So many guys that I see who have wrecked their lives or brought a whole lot of unnecessary drama into their life, they did it because their decisions were emotionally driven. And they'll even tell me, they go, well, I can't break up with her, and I haven't broken up with her because, she's just so great in bed, and, oh, she makes me feel so special. Okay, well, when you make your decisions based on emotion, expect bad things to happen. You need to think about taking control of your emotions, looking at your relationships objectively, and asking yourself questions like, if she's being a real pain in the ass, ask yourself, do I want more of this? Is this what I want to hitch my wagon to? Do I seriously think I can rehabilitate this woman to not give me the silent treatment or fits of rage or jealousy or whatever? Do I really think I can convert this woman, tame the shrew? It's the emotions that are clinging to that fantasy. You have to look at it logically and reasonably and with common sense and say, you know what? I just can't fix this woman. I'm going to go find a woman that doesn't need fixing. And the fact that the one I'm with is so pretty and sensual and whatever, you can find that again somewhere else. You can find a woman that you can trust, a woman that puts your needs and interests as a priority, as a part of the relationship. So I'll be returning to the Philippines after some things are taken care of here with my aging mom. She's 92, broke her hip, fractured her hip, had hip surgery. There's some things to just get taken care of so that she has excellent home medical care. She has like a LVN, an RN, and a facilitator and a nursing aide coming in different parts of the week, and she's got all the best equipment and hospital bed, and it's like an electronic air bed. She's very, very comfortable, and but that's part of life, and no amount of emotion is going to change it. You just have to deal with what is.